Good afternoon, I'm Raylene Ramsey. This is your afternoon news fix for Monday, the 9th of December. A poll shows Labour and National have taken a sizable hit in favour of ACT and Te Pāti Māori. The just-released Taxpayers Union-funded Courier poll shows the major impact of the Anti-Treaty Principles Bill Hikoi on support for the major parties. Political editor Jason Walls has more.
National were hit hard, dropping 4.5 points to just above 34%. Labour dropped the same amount, now sitting a whisker under 27. Meanwhile, ACT is up 4.5 points to 13, and Te Pāti Māori jumped 3 points to 5.5. NZ First were down a point, now polling slightly lower than Te Pāti Māori for the first time in the poll's history.
Leader David Seymour says his party's bump in the poll shows support for his Treaty Principles Bill.
Even with the really tough economic circumstances we face, there's a group of New Zealanders who want a strong stand on equal rights for each of us and an equal right to have a say on what our treaty means.
A finding staff at an Otago residential care provider acted abusively, breaching a dementia patient's rights. The elderly man moved into Iona Home and Hospital in 2019, needing significant help. Claudia O'Neill has more.
After caregivers reported 2 incidents of aggression, the man's family installed a hidden camera in his room, puzzled by the change in his behaviour. Footage found caregivers acting abusively, including shouting and not giving adequate assistance.
Aged Care Commissioner Carolyn Cooper says 2 staffers breached the code by not acting respectfully. A third didn't intervene or report the behaviour. Hamilton's Frankton School has come out of lockdown after reports a firearm was seen on nearby Massey Street. Armed police have taken a man into custody. The government appears to have bowed to pressure from the gas industry and will pull a legislative U-turn on its Crown Minerals Bill. Business Desk reports lobbyists have pushed back against changes made to legislation undoing the ban on oil and gas exploration. Political reporter Demelza Jackson has more.
Ministers introduced the amendment in an effort to reduce the risk of enormous costs associated with decommissioning exhausted gas fields, but a technical drafting error instead increased the liability faced by companies for decommissioning, particularly when a field is sold. The bill had been on track to pass last month, but is now expected to return to Parliament in February to be fixed.
Makatū Pies has been saved from closure for the second time in 5 years. The Bay of Plenty business went into liquidation last month. It's been bought by catering company Montana Group, which is placing the brand into a new joint venture entity and licensed back to the production business. Makatū Te Puke Ward Councillor Grant Daly says the business avoiding closure again shows it's well established.
Looks like the business must have always had value, and for not just Montana but other organisations looking at purchasing it.
In sport, Devon Conway will miss New Zealand's 3rd cricket test against England in Hamilton starting Saturday due to what coach Gary Stead says is the pending birth of his first child. Mark Chapman comes into the squad and Will Young looks set for elevation to the 11. White Ferns cricket coach Ben Sawyer has been reappointed through to the end of 2026 on the back of the T20 World Cup triumph. And 7-time Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton is reflecting as he farewells Mercedes after 12 years. I'm Raylene Ramsey. That is your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update tomorrow morning from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.